Evening all, Chief Prepper here. With tensions rising and ratcheting way up, I thought it might be more prudent to go over the live information that I was going to do next Tuesday. I will probably still go live, but I'll have to come up with different content. So I wrote a bunch of these notes down, I think last night. I was up till 3. I was watching the show that I'm going to recommend for you all to look at for prepping purposes. It's called 1883. It's a prequel for Yellowstone. Our history is a literal example of Darwinism here in the country. Only the strong will survive, and only those will have a chance to, the strong. So keep that in mind. So I just got through watching a video from Magic Prepper talking about 5 preps he needs to do better on, and listened to Canadian Prepper about the missile launch from North Korea that almost struck an island in Japan and prompted an evacuation order. And payday for some people is coming up. So I would tell all of you over and over and over, the small, short-lived shit-hit savannah events are all the same as the long ones, except the long ones are you don't get a break. So, and over and over and over, it's food, water, security, shelter. So, that should tell you something. So I was going to talk about this on the live, but I'm going to do it now because spring is here, and if it's not where you're at, it's coming. So these are some things you should consider. On food, I would think that you would want to learn how to grow things. And the things that I recommend are tomatoes, lettuce for salads, peppers, and then plant grapes. Tomorrow I may do a short video. I planted 2 grapevines and 2 raspberry and 2 blackberry. The blackberry and raspberry died. The grapevines have come back. So I will probably endeavor to get some more blackberry and raspberries and plant them in a different part of the yard. You want to plant things that are what's considered ever-bearing. Once you plant them and they take root, then every year you will get some kind of fruit, assuming you have enough water. Onions, microgreens, and spices. So not talking salt and pepper, I'm talking spices like garlic, like cinnamon maybe. Most people don't know cinnamon is actually a damn stick that they grind up, like literally a stick. So most people like cinnamon, at least most people I know. And I especially love cinnamon rolls. All right. You need to learn how to cook. I'm not talking about just the ladies. Everybody needs to learn how to cook. The days of gender roles, as far as, only the men will fight, are over. The days of only women will cook are over. You need to be able to do everything. And for the men out there who say, I ain't going to cook, well, here's a question for you, stupid. What happens if the woman you're with dies and there aren't any other women that you can try to cuddle up next to get to cook for you? Just keep that in mind. And for ladies, you need a man literally to help protect you. But there may come a time where the man that's protecting you is not there anymore. So just keep that in mind as well. So you need to learn portions. You need to learn to ration and rotate your stock. All your stock. All right. Canned goods, frozen meats, frozen vegetables, your dried goods, which all of this is a part of cooking because you have supplies on hand. If you let them sit too long, they will go bad. You need to learn how to make your own bread. My wife made some Sunday. I need to learn how to do that. You need to possibly learn how to grow your own grain. Find a source of honey, because sugar will become non-existent. If shit hits the fan happens, may or may not, probably will, in some form, or fashion. Let's hope it's the short-lived or temporary kind and not the nuclear war kind. Get intimate with your food. So that pretty much wraps up food. So we're going to move on to something else. Wherever you're at, you need to learn your area, your entire area. So, like, I know that I routinely travel 25 to 30 miles away from my house. So if shit hits the fan, happens, and it's during the summertime, and I don't get home before 12 hours, then the food in my refrigerators and my freezers are gone. So that's something to consider. Assuming I can make it that far, that fast. So you need to start learning your area by driving it. And then you need to walk it. You also need to locate your closest water source that doesn't come out of your tap. And then once you find it, you need to be able to walk to it if you can. If you cannot, how are you going to get water? Having said that, how are you going to get water? Do you have some kind of garden cart? Something strong enough and heavy enough to carry 5-gallon buckets of water? And can you get to that water source without being noticed, or are you going to have to fight your way in and out? Or be prepared to defend yourself on the way there or on the way back? Do you have a heavy-duty wagon? Do you have 5-gallon buckets? Do you have 5-gallon buckets with lids? Having said all that, fill up your buckets, put them on your wagon if you have one, or garden cart, and pull it. See how far you can pull it. If you can't pull it as far as your closest water source, you need to start exercising. And I say that because when I've gone hog hunting, I got my first hog by myself in 2016, which was 20 years after I started hunting hogs in 1996. Because it's not, you don't always see them, or maybe you see them, but you can't shoot at them because there's no good shot, or they're too far away, or they're moving. So, and I bring that up because I've hauled as small as 150 to as large as 300-pound hogs out of the woods on a cart, about 500 yards, maybe 1,000. Mostly level terrain, but it was uneven and it was not flat. And trust me when I say this, that is a lot of work. The big hog that we got was 300 pounds. It's mounted on my wall, his head. We took turns every 25 to 50 yards pulling the cart. And by the time we got back to where we were going to butcher him, we were both of us were panting. And we're both 6 foot tall men, call it 200 pounds. We're both heavier now because we're both older, but keep that in mind. Your buckets need to have lids to prevent spillage. So the other thing you may not know, is you need separate containers for the non-potable water and from the lake or the stream or the creek. And then you need a way to boil, filter, clean it, and make it so you can drink and cook with. You can bathe in non-filtered or boiled water, as long as it's not like radioactive or whatever. Very important thing, you need to be able to make fire without a big lighter, without a lighter that's a torch. You need to be able to use a ferrocerium rod or magnesium stick or something. And if worst comes down, you need to be able to do a bow saw with a stick, but that's really hard to do. You need to invest in some kind of tripod with a chain or your cooking grit to go over a campfire. Invest in cast iron, everything I learned how to use. I have all of that, but I have not learned how to use it. That is on my list of things to do, but I figure if I have to learn how to do it, I can probably manage. Learn about wherever you're at. The apex predator in Alaska is a polar bear. The apex predator in Texas is probably, in this part of Texas, is probably a mountain lion and coyotes. We don't have wolves here. We have black bear in extreme western Texas and the high desert, not here. Whatever your apex predator is that's four-legged, you need to be able to kill in the event that it decides it wants to eat you. So if it's like up in Washington State, they have brown bears and grizzlies and black bears. So if you're going to have a weapon of some kind, weapon of peace, that weapon needs to be able to handle that four-legged apex predator. Realize that moose kill more people in Alaska than anything else. So, you got a 1,500, 2,000 pound animal that gets pissed off and stomps all over you, then that's a problem. Elk are also very large, 1,500 pounds, a bull elk. So your weapons of peace also need to be able to deal with two-legged critters or predators. So, you need to think about bears, wolves, mountain lions, coyotes. Okay. Your local area has a specific set of critters. Texas has all 4 of the poisonous snakes: water moccasins, copperheads, rattlesnakes, and coral snakes. Here in San Antonio, we have all 4. What about spiders? What about scorpions? Wherever you're at, you got some kind of critter. You need to learn about them. Bugs. We have chiggers in Texas. That shit would be awful, and the shit is to ban event if you don't have access to bleach. Fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, ants, wasps, bees. One thing I didn't write down here is for those people who have allergies, even mild, like I have them. When I go hunting periodically, I just swell up like a Pikachu. I mean, I can barely see out of my eyes. I'm all puffy and I'm itching. What are you going to do during a shit hits the fan event if you run out of or you don't have allergy medicine? Think about that. Down here, at least in Texas, HEB chain here in South Central Texas has a lot of foldouts and info on all the things that I just talked about. So look into those, specifically the kind that are waterproof. I showed them to you on a video. You need to learn to hunt and fish. I've said this over and over and over. And you need to learn how to fish efficiently. As I did a video recently around New Year's, I went and bought waterproof M80 firecrackers. Light them, drop them in some deep water, and fish will float to the top. Not necessarily something I'm recommending you do, but you don't want to spend 4 hours or 8 hours and not catch nothing. If you're wondering if it's too late to prep or get ready, it currently is not. You have until shit hits the fan gets here. Then it's too late. If you're a quick study, you may have a chance. Invest time in all of that and you have a chance. Preppers will be the transition to whatever comes next. Remember, when it gets here, you will need to be prepared to protect your loved ones and your stuff. And I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. Your weapons need to be able to handle 4-legged and 2-legged predators. So hopefully all of this is resonating with you. There's a video I'm going to watch when I'm done uploading this from Travis at Prepared Homestead. He's talking about you need to be a producer in order to survive. So, and if you're going to be a producer, you need water and you need a base stock. Like I got chickens. I'm sure I'll get tired of them. I hate fish. I managed to live 2 years in Iraq and never eat fish once. I was hungry those days, but I did it because that's how much I hate fish. Canadian Pepper just did the video and he stressed the importance of having an evacuation plan. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. I'm sure there's videos. Basically, you need your important papers. You need your bug out bag, probably some kind of security, some tarps for shelter if you're on foot, if you're driving, a place to go. There is a lot going on. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. If people think for 1 second that this isn't going to end in some kind of fight, I don't know what to tell you anymore. So I hope you enjoyed the content. I will figure out something for the live. It might just be me sitting there talking, entertaining questions for anybody that shows up. Today is Wednesday. I'm sure I'll be able to think of something to talk about. I spent about an hour writing all this down. But you need to think about it over and over and over during every shit hits the fan event, even if it's just a local thing with tornadoes, hurricanes, thunderstorms, power outages, ice storms, earthquakes, food, water, shelter, security. Those 4 are the minimum. So, and then you need to be able to replenish your food. You need a reoccurring supply of water. All right? So, information is knowledge and power. Chief Prepper, out.